Ghost longboards or myself. Russ Warner, I just turned 47, yes. I still think I'm 21. I think I act like I'm 21. And I've had a long career of being an entrepreneur. I remember actually attending Salt Lake Community College. I was one of these kids, even when I was 12 years old, I started a candy company. And I was selling suckers and chocolates to St. Mark's Hospital. And I was really busy. I was making about $200-300 a week as a 12-year-old. And I'd stay up till midnight making chocolates and suckers and candy and just having fun. When I was in college, I started up a couple other companies. I started up a chemical company, making chemicals and selling chemicals. And then I started a landscaping business. And I didn't know anything about landscaping because when I was a kid, I always told my neighbors if they wanted to jump on the tramp, they had to mow my lawn. So I always talked to the other kids. I was always an entrepreneur, always trying to get people to do something for me and help me out grow. In college, if someone would have told me, stood up here and said, what is the very most important thing of starting a company? I would say number one is don't just stick with the dream. Actually put it into motion. Just do it. Don't perfect it. You can perfect it as you go. Every business starts out rough and doesn't always look exactly how you want it to be. And a lot of people will hold on to that idea so long that they never launch it. So just do it is number one. You don't have to have the expertise of doing anything to actually do something with an idea. Number three, I would say connections. Be well connected. And today's day and age is so easy to connect. Social media, LinkedIn. You know, if I could tell you today, start using LinkedIn, start using social media, start building up your profiles. LinkedIn is a business site that connects you with people. I connect with probably 25 to 50 people a day on LinkedIn. I've got 2 accounts, one that's got about 19,000 connections, another one that's got 12,000. And it's always good to be connected to people because you don't know how someone can help you out in business. And I think that's what's launched a lot of my businesses I've done over the years. You know, when I was in, probably when iPhone first came out, you know, I was always a guy like, oh, look, there's apps. I want an app. You know, like how cool would it be everybody be walking around playing my game? So I researched, I took a class online and said, hey, how do you build apps? Found a guy that was teaching it and then just did it. And I launched my first app and it was a boring calculator app. You know, no one really cares about one of those. And I thought, okay, I've got the boring calculator app now. How do I make something fun? So I created another app called Billy Booger. It's kind of my personality, a little boy that looked like Calvin and Hobbes that flicked boogers at his mom and sister and dad. And you know, there's 10 different types of boogers. And, and you get to pick what they do. And it was fun to sit there and create all these apps and just be able to learn the process of getting them out. And the fun, I'll tell you what the fun part of it was, is you get on your phone like, oh my gosh, someone's playing one of my games in Germany. Now someone's playing it in Australia. You know, it's just fun to say, oh, there's 1,000 people a day downloading your app, and I was just having fun with it. So I started creating more and more apps, and really I did it just for fun to say, how do you do it? I wanted to do it. I wanted an app, and I had a little boy that picked his nose, so that's how Billy Booger came about. Thought, hey, I'll make an app on that. So then I did some others. I did like 9 different apps, and I always played around with technology. I love technology. I went and took a class on, it's back in '98 when websites and the web was pretty new. Maybe it was about '96. And I didn't really understand the internet. And I went and took a class on how to build a website. And this is way before Google existed. You know, any of these sites, there was no such thing as, there was weird search engines. There's probably like 100 of them. And everybody was trying to figure out, hey, well, what do people use the internet for? And I went and took a class of how do you build a website? So I just did it. I just went and built a website just for fun. And then I started doing pay-per-click, and that was back then when you only had to pay like 3 cents. You know, you do a keyword and 3 cents. You're like, hey, wow, you only paid 3 cents for somebody to go to my website and buy something from me. I go, that was pretty easy. Now it's very expensive. You know, pay-per-click is. But if I could teach any of the students here, sitting here, is you have ideas. You don't need $1 million to start any type of company, anything. You can outsource things. So I'll go back to my apps. I don't know how to program at all. I'm kind of computer dumb in a way, but I know how to design it up here and then pay someone to do it for me. And I think that is a wonderful thing to do. You don't have to be everything. If you have an idea, that's worth a lot more than actually being technical. So even from our company today, Ghost Longboards, so the story behind it was my partner, Brent, he built one of these boards. He was building a set for Health Theater, and he's really good with machinery. And he cut out a board for his son that was at the time about 12 years old, and he kept riding over to my house. I go, man, that is the coolest thing ever. I love that board. It's different. I skated when I was a little kid, and I still have my original skateboard. And I go, man, this looks fun. So I asked him, I go, hey, Brent, I go, how about we partner up and we sell these? I'm more of a marketing guy, more sales, more entrepreneur. I see something I like, and I just kind of run with it. I just do it. And he's more, no, he doesn't want anyone to know he exists, but he's really good with design. And he goes, so we're talking and I just went home and I went and launched a website on a Saturday afternoon, said, sorry, Brent, I'm going to see if people like them. And he goes, okay, whatever. And we started getting a whole bunch of interest online, and I thought, man, that was really cool. People like them. It's different. Sometimes in business, you can get emotional of your product, and you can like it more than the rest of the world, and then that's when it becomes a hobby, not a business. And you have to be able to separate your emotions in business. You have to say, the world likes this, or I just like it. And that's very important. If you ever watch Shark Tank, you see these guys all the time being told, quit now. Go home, go back to work, because your product sucks, but you may love it. And you have to separate that. So that's what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, how do we separate this from I think it's really cool to I want to go out and ride one at night and have fun after work and actually create it to be a business. And that's going into test mode. So I built the website. My 14-year-old daughter said, hey, let me teach you what Instagram is. I had no clue. And I was like, okay, this is cool. You can post pictures of stuff. And so my first video was me with my iPhone, and we built our first board, and I went out there in the middle of winter last year and videoing me riding the board, and I posted it just from my iPhone. I thought, hey, what the heck? And the website, I did also the same thing. I took all the pictures with my phone, posted a couple of pictures on there. I went to Fiverr.com and had a logo built for me for $5. And I thought, sweet, I'm going. Let's go have fun with this. And you tweak things as you grow. And it took off. All of a sudden, we're a year and a half later. We've got 37,000 followers on Instagram. We've shipped our boards all over the world. We got people riding them in Japan, Australia, the UK, Netherlands. I mean, now it's really cool for me because I always ask for them to send me pictures of you in these other places, of you enjoying our product. And I think I get more enjoyment out of that, saying, hey, we built something, we manufacture something that people are having fun at. And then you go into your connections and who you're connected with to help you grow. So most of my growth, a lot of people say, God, in a year and a half, you've sold almost, we're probably close to 600-700 boards out the door, really just kind of just having fun. And a lot of it is connecting with people. So some of our biggest sales and connections was like Kevin from Sodalicious. This guy named Kevin owns Sodalicious, and he called me up and says, hey, Russ, love your board. You build us the Sodalicious board. I go, yeah, that'd be really fun. Let's do it. And so we built one with his logo on it, and he went out and wrote it and did a giveaway. And his Instagram jumped like, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 more people. And then, so Penguin Brothers Ice Cream called me up, and then Rockwell Ice Cream, and then, we're doing actually one for Cowabunga Bay right now, and then Vivint Solar wanted 150 boards, and then, and so as each of those guys would introduce me to 2 or 3 people too. So Kevin, like, hey, have you talked to this guy, and this guy? I'm like, no, do you have their phone number? I'd love to, and that's a lot of business is relationships. You meet one person, you don't know who they're connected to. You don't know who they know. And I've got this girl in Florida that's this lady that's one of our biggest rock stars. She's always out telling everybody about our boards. And so I'll make her a board, and she tells 20 more people about our boards. And there are connectors out there. I think in business is finding connectors and identifying who they are, but also try to be a connector yourself. You always want to help other people out. When you help somebody else in business, they're willing to help you out. And that's the biggest thing is a lot of business owners are like, gosh, I don't know where to get this. And you already may know, hey, I know how to help you out. Let me direct you and let me introduce you to this guy or this gal. And so be a connector and find connectors. So in business, you sit here in school thinking, man, I have an idea, or this is what I want to be when I grow up. You don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to build somebody else's entrepreneur dream. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to go work for somebody else to build up their dream to make them all the money and the houseboats and the cars, and you become their pawn. You can also become your own entrepreneur. You can even do it on the side. You can do it at home, and especially today. I'll tell you, it's easy to create a company today than ever, especially with social. I know girls that sell clothes on Jane.com. I have a neighbor across the street that sells bath bombs, and I mean, you could sell anything online if it's a good idea and it works. And so let your idea just go and put it out there. I have a sister-in-law that sells mats for kids, play mats. They can take their cars, and they're all the different states, and she raised money on one of those fundme.coms or something like that. She raised, I think, like $40,000 to get this off the ground. She's just a stay-at-home mom. Take your idea. It doesn't have to be big. When we first started doing these boards, I didn't go out and buy 1,000 sets of wheels and 1,000 trucks. And it's funny, my first boards that we sold, I went to eBay and bought some wheels and trucks because we cut out the boards. So we manufacture the boards, but I don't manufacture the wheels and the trucks in the beginning. So I was like, oh, I'll just go to eBay and buy some. And I was paying way higher than I do now. And I just had to sell. And then I went to big manufacturing plants, and I said, all right, so I went and called all of the these are called trucks, so sorry. These little things that hold the wheels on are called a truck. I went and called all the big companies like Paris and Caliber and said, all right, I need to buy trucks, and what kind of price can I get, and how do I work it out? And a lot of it's just research is when you manufacture something or get into something, is you don't have to do, I don't want to go buy machinery and mold metal and things like that. Like, that's not my business. My business is boards, but assemble them to how people like. So I don't make I was like, I'm going to find the best truck companies out there. I'm going to research everything about them. What does the size mean? What does the dimensions mean? What is every piece? What separates one truck or one wheel from another? And you do all this research. You make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I remember my first set of wheels I messed up on. I still have a box of wheels that I would never, ever sell or ever put on our boards because it doesn't meet our quality. It doesn't meet what I'd want. And so you do go through a lot of testing of yourself. And so I ride every board that we ever make. And I try out every truck, every type of wheel myself before we'll sell it to make sure I like it. It's high quality. Because you never want, when you sell a product, someone come back to you and say, that was so cheap and a piece of crap. You always want people to say, I loved that product. I loved your board. I'm going to tell 10 more people about your board. So we probably spend more money on the quality than most skate companies out there. And I looked at it as like, okay, I'm going into this arena of $1 billion industry that guys have been around years and years that have the market pretty sewed up with skateboards. And I thought, man, this is going to be kind of crazy. I'm going against some big companies. I'm doing this out of my garage. And today I still actually do a majority of it out of the garage. My whole side of my garage I've got 5,000 sets of wheels and a couple thousand sets of trucks, and my living room's full of boards and nuts and bolts and bearings. And I mean, my house has become the neighborhood skate shop. I get everybody stopping by to fix their boards, to sell them new parts, to come stop by and check them out. And that's actually fun. It's fun to be able to actually say that you started in the garage, and having a lot of fun with it. So back on the manufacturing part of it is we now we're at a point where we are manufacturing our own. We're having a manufacturer build our own trucks to how I designed them, how I wanted them, how I wanted to do them. Yeah, same thing with wheels that we've started getting pretty picky of. Nope, this is how we want them done. But it was interesting when I went to these big companies. I found out that I'd buy like a couple hundred sets of trucks or wheels from them, and then the box they sent it to me said, "Made in China." I'm thinking, that's interesting. This company says that they're out of California, says that they're the manufacturer, sends me all their parts that says made in China. So I go, that's interesting. So I jumped on, started doing research, and it's actually funny. I buy almost all my trucks now and wheels from the same manufacturing plants as all the big guys, and they show me, we just throw their logo on it. So how do you want yours to look? And we can put your logo on it. It's really interesting with different parts. So can you manufacture something 100% in America? You can. We still do all our boards in America, but external parts we do have them shipped in. And I'm okay with that because we're selling them as completes. This is, we're putting them together all here. We sell them all here. Every board's touched by me that's sold, and so we're having fun with it. So a little bit about the Ghost longboards from the beginning. When we started selling them. Our demographics, I was also trying to figure out what our demographics is. This is everything you learn in business. What's your demographics? What's your price point? What's your cost per board? You have to learn actually all those things. So yes, is math important? Yeah, it kind of is. Is marketing important? Yes. Is business important? Is a CPA important? Are attorneys important? Yes. All those things are important in business. But you can, again, find the right connections to help you out with certain things. So yes, our cost, for a board like this, is about $68 a board to make from start to finish. And I'll sell this one for, our average board sell, this one's $165, this one's $250, that one's $99. So you have to put your price point of where you want to make it. So my goal is always make $100 a board. It's really kind of easy to say $100 a board, and that's what I want to make on them, on my, for all my time and just doing it. And then you have to put together your marketing budget with everything and how you want to do it. So most of our boards, I'd say 50% of them are custom. So we'll get a lot of companies that will come to us and say, hey, can we have our logo on it? Or a kid that says, I want my name on it. Or a flower says flower child, or a unicorn or a mermaid. You name it, we've done it. We've built boards and shapes of a guitar for Imagine Dragons and neon trees, and we just did one for Bret Michaels, and we've done some pretty crazy different shapes. Penguin Brothers, we built one in the shape of a penguin. For them, there's a guy that has a handle. He's got no arms and no legs. It's look, mom, no hands. Is kind of he's a super cool guy, but he does everything. You'll watch him at the gym, and he's got little stumps, and he's working out, And he's got little flipper feet, and he called me up. He goes, I want a board. I go, oh, come on. What are you going to do with the board? And he wanted one the shape of it's called a bape. It's like a ape face, and it's awesome. You know, we put little wheels on it and trucks. He gets out of his wheelchair, jumps on it, and he paddles around, you know. And it's really cool to be able to have that experience, to meet a lot of people. We've met amazing people throughout, you know, doing this, and those connections also become connections. And it's been a lot of fun. As somebody enjoys your product or what you do, they're going to tell others about you. So let your mind go wild about what's in your head. Let it out. It really is. This is the best world to be in and best time to ever be an entrepreneur. So where we're at today, I'll just tell you a few little things. So anyone ever seen these wheels before? So these are actually called shark wheels. These guys actually is a collaboration as we became friends. These guys were actually on Shark Tank. They actually had 3 of their sharks invest in them. So they called me up and said, hey, we love your board. So their wheel, what they invented was redefining the wheel. So on a skateboard, what most people worry about is if you're going slow, what is your worst enemy?
Rock.
A rock. Yes, and when you're 47, you do not want to hit a rock, because when you fall, you don't get up as fast as when you're 16. So that's why they invented this wheel. One of their first thoughts were when they did this wheel was for like ambulance. What do you call that? You throw somebody on the ambulance. Yeah, the gurney. And when they'd get wheels stuck in ruts and over rocks and pebbles, and they want to say, hey, how do you do something more like a sidewinder that just cruises right over? It's kind of more like an SUV tire. Everybody always asks, the first thing they ask, are those square? No, they are round, and they're made as like a sidewinder to cruise over pebbles, rocks, rough roads, and they're a fun wheel. And one of the things I like about them, they're soft. You don't worry about the pebble or the rock, and I mean, they'll spin forever. This thing will spin for like 2 minutes straight. So they're super fast. So also, being old, I just want to do that once and just kind of cruise down the road and have fun. I don't want to sit there the whole entire time, and that takes a lot of energy. I want to have fun on the board and just ride it. So this is actually one of my boards I ride. I ride a lot of different boards. I've got one with a motor on it when I want to take the dog for a run, because that's really easy. You just jump on it, goes 25 miles an hour, and you just tell the dog, come on, Roxy, let's go. And she runs, and I just keep up with her, and that's really easy and fun. So the motors are fun. The shark wheels are fun. The light-up lights are a lot of fun for nighttime. That's one of my safety features I sell to moms. Hey, your kids are out riding at night. It's okay. They could be seen. I've got headlights on this one. It's okay. They can ride at night and everybody sees them. It's safe. And so we sell those like in blue, green, pink, yellow, red, white, and tons of colors. And then we'll sell a lot of the shark wheels. And a lot of the truck companies like me too, because we sell a lot of colored trucks. Because most skateboards, on a wood board, you don't see that truck. And on our boards, so we sell more colored trucks, from a lot of yellow, pink, red, blue, more than just silver. I can't tell you last time I sold like a silver truck, on a board, because people think, hey, I get to see the truck, get to pick the style, I get to make it look the way I want. And so even people that go to our website get to pick, what colors they want, what they want to look like, how they want it designed. What shape they want it to be, just about everything to make it, more unique for them. So we have a lot of fun with that. So ghost longboards, so hence the name. It started because, they're ghosts, they're clear. And so I thought, hey, what's a better name than ghost, for a longboard? One of the things we started is I would say when you do websites, so I bought ghostlongboard.com, and then you always want to have the one with the S on it. So so I bought ghostlongboards.com later, because it wasn't for sale at the time, and somebody was just sitting on it, and I had to buy it off them at an auction, but then you just redirect it. So So when you do a website, start thinking all the alternatives. Somebody hears what is it? Was it Ghost Along Board or Ghost Along Boards? Just buy it all. Especially with GoDaddy, it's $8. Big whoop. You sit on them and hold them and redirect them. I've got 26 different websites, all for different things, and some of them I'll hold on to, some I redirect, some I'll use later on. I've got a lot of other projects, so every time I think of an idea, actually the first thing I do when I think of a new company or idea, I go buy it, I go see if the website's available, and I buy it and sit on it until I've come up with the rest of the product and the idea of it. So just pick it up, have fun with it, and for us, what do we want to accomplish out of this? Really, I want to continue growing it worldwide. Right now, it's just online. My second phase of these boards, my second phase I just launched, I actually got a piece of wood down the middle of them. It looks really, really cool. And then phase 3 is to start getting into distribution. I'm working with 2 other skateboard companies that called me up and says, hey Russ, we love what you're doing. Can you help us? So I'm helping out this other skateboard company that builds beautiful wood boards in Salt Lake, and they're really good at being behind the scenes. They sell to other people that say that they're the skateboard company. So they they're behind the scenes, and so they build all these boards for other people that you would no idea that they exist. And these other guys take them and sell them. Hey, look what we just manufactured, these awesome boards. They're like, how do we get into retail? How do we get to the public? Because they're all wholesale. So I'm helping them get to the retail side of it. And I said, okay, let's look at your social media. Let's look at your website. Let's look at your audience to help you grow. Then I was out at my brother's wedding in Hawaii about 2 months ago, and of course I always have to bring boards with me. So I took a pineapple board with me and with the motor, so I could cruise around the island. And of course I always want to go see other skateboard companies now. So I met another company called Jucker Hawaii, and he manufactures about 25,000 boards a year, but he doesn't sell very many in Hawaii. He sells most of his boards in Germany. And I thought, God, that's really interesting. You're sitting in Hawaii, you're selling all your boards in Germany. And so we became friends now. And he had a problem with Amazon that I could solve for him. So I said, I'll solve your problem with Amazon and fix it and help you through all this if you help me get into Germany. So it was a great partnership. It's not what I could do so I offered to help him first. Now he's helping me get into a big distribution into Germany. So it's a good trade. So right now I've got a garage full of his boards, and so I'm helping him with his. It's not a conflict because our boards are different than his, but we're friends. We're helping each other. Always look at business is your competitors as your friends. It's okay to go meet all your competitors, to go meet everybody you think is a threat, can actually become an ally. So I love meeting with other manufacturers and say, what's your biggest problem you guys have? How can I help you with my expertise, help you with yours? And one of them, the one in Salt Lake, they didn't know, they only build just decks and didn't know how to do grip tape and wheels and trucks and where to get all that stuff. I said, I've got you covered. I've done that. I know how to help you. I can help you get to the public, and I can help you with assembly. So I looked at seeing how I could help those guys out, and it's a good partnership now. We talk all the time. So get to meet everybody. Get to know. I would say everybody in this classroom. I bet you, if you stood up and actually talked to your neighbor in here, you'd find out they have some idea to help you out with whatever's sitting up here to become a business person, and help you bring it to light. Because you can't know everything. I don't know very much, is what I say, but I know where to go find it. I'm not good at knowing every little detail, but I'm really, really good at networking. I'd say that's probably my biggest strength in anything is networking and learn how to market. Now, I'm competitive too. When I saw these other big skate companies on Instagram, like, hey, okay, my goal is to pass them up, followers. And so, yeah, my goal is to get to 50,000, by the end of this year. Next year, I want to get to 100,000 followers. I want to, I research what is the best strategy of marketing. There's a lot of books. I always say, if you want to become the expert at something, study it. Don't just think about it. Go pick up one marketing book a week and just read it. I mean, there's so many little ones like Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. One of my favorite books. He talks about how to become every one of your customers. If you create them to be a raving fan, they're going to tell everybody about you. So think about last time you went to a restaurant, and you're eating there, and what does the server come and ask you? How was your food, right? And what do you say? But the common answer is fine. It was fine. If you only get it was fine from your product, that means you failed. Because fine doesn't mean they're going to go back to all their friends and family and say, oh my gosh, I went to this one restaurant. You got to eat there. You have to go there. And I can tell you, I'm a raving fan. There's 2 restaurants I'm a raving fan of. One is called Bugatti's in Dallas, Texas. I went there, made reservations, an Italian restaurant, and the owner, it was starting to rain, runs out with 2 umbrellas for the 2 women I was with, and gives them an umbrella to walk in. Then he has both doors open to greet you into his restaurant. You walk in there, you sit down at the table, and the water boy comes around with white gloves on and calls each of you by name. He goes, Mr. Warner, would you like some water? Mrs. Richardson, would you like some water? And I thought, okay, wait a minute. So I looked around the table. Every table, they're calling them by name. They memorized who was coming to the restaurant that night. This is not a $100 plate place. This is a nice Italian place, but it's a regular $20 plate, type Italian restaurant. It wasn't, so don't think this was some, magical. I mean, it was kind of in a dump area too. I mean, it wasn't really that, amazing as you'd think. But then I looked down and we have a menu, and I was working for a company that says, welcome, our company name on this menu. And there was a rose for the 2 businesswomen I was with sitting next to them. I thought, oh my gosh, this guy is going all out to impress us. And we're from out of state. The 2 women I was with from California, the other guy I was with from Utah, and I was from Utah. I was like, he'll probably never see us again, but what is he doing? So then, we get to the menu, and I say, I don't know, what do you recommend? Because there's a lot of Italian names I didn't understand. He goes, is there anything you don't like? I go, probably don't like veal, And he goes, okay, I'll take care of you. Don't worry about the menu. I go, okay, that's sweet. And then I have this great meal. Then he asked me for my address, my name, my email address. And now every year, and I went to this restaurant probably 15 years ago. I get a birthday card every year from him. And his name is Z-E-E. And every time I go to Dallas now, guess where I go? Guess who I tell people about? I don't even think he knows I'm a raving fan of him. But I tell anybody. I had a neighbor who's just taking a business trip to Dallas. I go, I know where you need to go. I know what restaurant. And I have one down in Houston, too, just the same, called Perry's. They got this 7-finger pork chop, most amazing thing you'd ever find. But anybody that ever goes to Houston, I'm like, okay, you got to go find this restaurant. I became a raving fan. And I learned what that concept meant from this book. So there's a lot of good books, from good to great to, well done. I mean, there's tons of these awesome books. Read them. That's your study guide for business. If you want to succeed in business, read from other people's successes and how they did it. And everywhere you go, look around and say, what separates that car from that car? That fence from this fence? That house builder from this house builder? Start looking what your separation is because all business, you have to say, what separates Ghost Longboards from the other 10,000 longboards? And the way I'd answer that, one is they're clear. I can see that a lot out there. They're very durable. They're fun. They're not just for boys for skating. They're for moms, their kids, their And they're customizable. We're one of the very few longboard companies, skateboard companies, that you can get anything you want on our boards for minimal. I mean, if someone wants their name on it, it's $25. They want their logo, it's between $25 and $50. Depends how detailed it is. I mean, super easy for us to customize anything for anybody. That's what separates us. These big manufacturing guys, other skateboard companies that buy stuff from bulk from China or run 1,000 exactly the same logo, that's all you get. What separates us is I always make sure that you're going to get really good quality. You know, I mean, I hand build them. And I make sure that they're done right, they're touched, they got the best trucks, the best type of wheels you can get, you know, out there. I'm going to guide people through their experience. I'm very active on social media. I get even a comment this morning, "Thanks again, you're the only guy that ever answers my questions." You know, they send me a message, I respond to it. You always want to get, everybody I send boards to, I send them a review, a Google review, text to them to give me a 5-star review. And then I'll ask them, "Hey, send me pictures and videos of your son riding it or your daughter riding it," or, you know, I want to share it. And people love that. They want to be able to share their experience of our boards to everybody else. So I always ask, and I get a lot of fun pictures and videos back that I get to share with everybody else. So it brings it a little bit closer them to the company. They don't feel like I just bought just a product. So, and you can do that in a service industry, in about anything you do. You can touch it just a tad bit more. No, I've talked to a patent attorney out of California. He goes, "There's a few things. You can go spend like $30,000 on a patent. There's always workarounds on patents." So he goes, "But you can patent, there's certain things you can do that almost do the same. From every hashtag, everything I do, I brand Ghost Boards, Ghost Boards, Ghost Longboards. You know, at the websites," he goes, "that will even protect you quite a bit because you've got a history now of doing that." Anybody can go tweak something. And I am working on a patent idea. So one of the future ideas that we're doing is we're going to start putting stuff on the inside of the acrylic, like a $2 bills or grass or, you know, like penny, you know, quarters inside. And then has anybody ever seen those phone cases that have liquid, you know, that has stuff like that? I'm going to do one giant phone case that goes on the bottom of these. So it's a liquid ghost board. So you'll be able to dump it upside down and see all the sparkles. So I've got some stuff. Once I get those created, I can patent those. But it's so expensive. I went through the whole entire 6-month process of how do I do school logos on them. And I got the approval to do all the school logos nationwide, except I pulled back. You get these little holograph, little stickers, you know, and all that. And the schools take a bunch of the money. I mean, they take a big percentage. And I've learned a lot going through that process. 6 months of paperwork. And then I got down to the point where I have to carry this huge insurance policy. And I was like, not quite ready. Because I'd have to sell a lot of boards. You know, I'd have to get a lot of reps first and go hit all the bookstores, that. So I've gone down the road of patents, ideas, you know, things like that. A lot of it is research until you feel like you're completely ready for that because it's expensive. There is someone can hurry and copy you, yes. Could some big skateboard company come in and try to smash me? Yes, but I think they'd feel foolish now because I've already grown so big online that they're like, okay, we'd look like we're just copying them and it'd make them look cheap. And so that's your part, is make sure you build a brand that's valued. And actually now I've got a lot of collaboration with, you know, other skateboard companies and truck companies. You know, these guys love me, these guys love me. You know, you become friends with all of them. So they don't feel like, oh, we just need to steal his idea. No, he's our friend. We want to support him, help him grow. And that's always been my idea, is become friends with my competitors. So they want to help me rather than smash me. So good question. I don't know if there's one really out there. I mean, the shark wheels are pretty grippy. One of the questions people always ask me, well, this doesn't have grip tape. Are they slippery? Acrylic's not slippery. So actually, when this gets wet, I've got videos of me going like 20 miles an hour in the rain, flying up. You know, with your shoes, rubber and acrylic, you stick really well. Same thing with these. I ride them all year round. I wouldn't worry so much about that. I don't know if you could do anything for ice. I think with ice, you're going to have a hard time at least pushing than anything. You won't go anywhere. But I'd say these are some of the best wheels out there for any type of issue on the road. So yes, I endorse these guys. They endorse me. So we've got good friendship. Yeah, both. So more recreational. So downhillers. I talked to a lot of downhillers. Become friends with some of those guys. Downhillers. So a couple things. Let me back up. So downhill racers that go 80 miles an hour down a hill. The boards are specially built with a lot of curve lifts. We don't have the curve. I don't have the machinery to bend the acrylic to heat it up. So more recreational, but I've talked to them. I've actually had videos of guys sending me going 45 miles an hour on our boards. I'm like, hey, you're crazy. Don't do that. Wear a helmet. Don't, because they're heavier, so you can actually get going pretty fast on these things. This board is probably about 12 pounds versus, a 6-pound, wood board or 5 pounds. So heavy, so speeds, yes. From truck purposes, actually I'm talking to, there's a truck company that wants me to buy them that has a patent and everything on them. And so I'm looking into, I'm testing them out. They're real downhill trucks. So if I get into more downhillers, I'm looking at, okay, how do I upgrade to a 90 millimeter wheel for them? I'm already using, ABEC 9 bearings that are super fast. I already have top line bearings for them, have pretty good wheels for them, and I have to change up the truck dimension and probably a few things to get to the downhillers. But yes, we're more recreational. We sell a lot to families, from all ages. You're gonna fail. You are, and the biggest lessons are, but when you fail, smile, laugh at yourself. You don't have to think you know everything. And that's the thing when I got into this, like, oh my gosh, people started asking me all the technical questions. Well, what degree truck do you have? What is this? What is this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I better go do my research and learning. So my biggest lessons are learn your competition, learn your product and your demographics very, very well, and find a niche and just be the best you can, and don't lie to people. Just be honest. I mean, I laugh all the time. I'm just, hey, this is who I am, just having fun. We're just doing it. I'm doing the best I can, and yes, I think we've had 5 that broke, and I feel horrible, and so I replaced them. I'm like, that's not the quality, the reputation I want. I'm doing this everything you do is your reputation too. So if you want to be known for this, keep everything up there. Both. I had people kind of seeing it, contacted me, like Kevin from Solicious contacted me. Then some, they would recommend me to other people. Shark Wheels, I'd heard about them, so I actually sent them an email and said, hey, I'd like to learn more about your wheels. They look square, And they're like, no, let me send you some samples. I'm like, okay, so can I buy them, for a cheaper price? They're like, yeah, of course. Will you send us a board? I'm like, yeah. So I sent them a board, and they wanted to see our boards. And so, yeah, it's just reaching out. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet. I mean, you can find anybody and anything and research anybody and anything. But, yeah, in social media, I post every day. It's against my 14-year-old's policy, on Instagram, but I do it. And she tells me everything I'm doing wrong. God, I can't believe you did that. But I just do it. I just have fun. I learn. And I do. I look back over the past year and a half like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that or I was doing that. I think you continue growing, we continue improving, what we're doing, and then just having fun with it. We started, I'm an 80s boy, so I go, hey, I need an 80s shirt, with a retro. Does that look 80s to you? Yeah. So I'm just being me, and just having fun with it, and don't try to be somebody else. You look at yourself in the mirror. I've always hated my voice. I'm not tall. I'm not, whatever. You just have to say, I am what I am. I'm just going to do it and not think, I'm going to be criticized, and just do the best you can. It's connections.
Just a connection. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been a lot of it. A lot of times I'll forget, like, how did you find me? I mean, yeah, because I've met Carlos Boozer, basketball players, too. Also, and it's always a connection. that you do stuff with. And so it's actually fun. I do have a couple giveaways, so if anyone could tell me, I've got a large here. I've got a couple different sizes here, some extra larges. So let's see, a random question. I want to know, is anyone following me on Instagram in here?
I just did.
Oh, you did? Okay, there you are. Are you a large?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
What you do?
Yes. There you go. All right, thank you guys for having me.